All right. Welcome to SIG Cloud Provider. It's Wednesday, August 17th. Go ahead and get started with triage. So, got two new issues today. Oops. So Kube Controller Manager crashes when AWS EBS PVC is unable to resize.
It would be interesting to see if it can be replicated with out of tree, because if it's the in tree driver.
Yeah, it's in tree, so I don't think it would be. I guess actually, I guess some of the code is sort of similar. So yeah.
We're trying to get people to use out of tree though anyway, right?
We are, yeah.
This is 122. So is the out of tree default in 122?
Yeah. No, sorry. The entry is default in 122.
Yeah, we haven't made the switch to defaulting to out of tree yet.
Yep. Okay. Well, looks like SIG storage is already taking it.
Is Antonio just in every SIG?
Yeah, I was just thinking that. I was like,
Wow, talented guy.
yeah.
SIG, basically.
I don't quite want to remove the triage yet until it's a little bit more sort of taken by SIG storage. So I'm gonna loop someone in. Okay. Node state changes causes excessive LB reconfigurations. Scale bug related to Cloud Controller Manager. Sounds familiar. Hmm.
It should still apply to entry as well, right? It's not CCM specific.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so.
I mean, 500 200 LVs and like one node changes, then all of them have to be reconciled. So I feel like it's the same issue for.
Yeah.
My question is, since this is like this seems like it's directly related to a scale issue, like, is there, I guess this is kind of what you're getting to, is there a recommended way to do this? And like, I mean, we couldn't do it in parallel or something.
Yeah. That's kind of like that. That's what I was wondering. It's like, yeah, seems to be an issue, but like, what is the alternative?
Right, like if you get to a point where you have so many load balancers and nodes in your cluster that it just takes long enough to reconcile them all and go through these things, like how, unless we come up with a different way of kind of processing that queue, or there's some other way to hold these things for an extra loop or something.
I'm just looking at this issue and going, this seems capsized. There's a lot going on here.
Yeah. So this person is proposing removing sync for node readiness from CCM altogether, basically.
I mean, that seems like it would definitely need an enhancement though, right? Or like you'd have
Oh,
to.
for sure. Yeah.
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 Yeah, that would need an entire deprecation journey.
Okay, it looks like I actually do remember this. We looked at this last meeting.
And they're
looks like
saying
that-
that it reopened because it hadn't been fully completed. I guess the robot thought it was completed because robot.
Hmm. I'm just curious what changed in this. Okay. So yeah, was changes to the service controller. It was not backported. Or actually, I guess this is imported by KCM as well. Okay, interesting. So yeah, I don't know. This sounds like part of it was fixed, but oops, part of it was fixed, but not all of it. So I'll just comment and see if this does need a cap. All right, anybody else have thoughts on this one?
It's a long read, so
Yeah,
I will look into it as well, see if it affects us.
ideally, let's all read on our own time, and then maybe we can discuss it next week.
Sure.
All
I mean, I
right.
am seeing mentions of a cap at the bottom of that too. So it seems like, is that kind of the next step in this process here?
I think so. Yeah. And
Do we want to
yeah, I guess
encourage?
there's.
Do we want to
Yeah.
encourage Alexander to open the cup, as Nick is pointing out, or do we think someone's going to need to pair with him on that? I don't want to just tell people go open a cup if he's not aware of the process at all. Like maybe we need to handhold him a bit through it.
Yeah, good.
I think I mean, my reading is that somebody is already aware and working on a cap, and maybe I missed it up here.
Oh yeah, I didn't
But-
see a link to the cup. but
No, that's
maybe-
exactly what I was just going to ask for. So I was like,
yeah, just see if he has a link to a cup in progress. Cool, thanks.
okay. Cool. Okay, I think those are the only two issues sitting in triage. For this one, I'll leave it out of triage just so that we take a look at it in 2 weeks and follow back up. And cool. Yeah, let's go through so project updates. If everybody wants to take a few seconds, if you have an update, just add it to the list.
Oh,
And I'll
you
just-
might want to scroll down to August 17th. You're in the template. which maybe
Very
we
good.
should make it a italicized or something, because I keep doing that on these too.
Yeah.
I'll go
Okay.
since I put one in, but I'm sure other people have their thoughts in progress. But a while ago, we had gone through and opened a bunch of those. I think Nick, you opened them, right? Those very
Yeah.
helpful issues that were just like basically go fix your tests, people. And I wanted to say that we have been paying attention to that. And in Provider Azure, we went and got all but one of our failing tests are currently fixed. So yeah, if you click on that link and search for Azure, there is only one that is currently failing.
That is
And,
awesome.
I'm just a reminder to all of us to pay attention to these failing tests issues that Nick had opened for us, because it is, yeah, for Azure, if you search for Azure, you will find there is one right now. Yep.
Nice.
But I think that we can all, I think it'll be impossible for all of us to have zero failing tests forever, but I bet we can all follow what Nick asked us to do and open those. Or go pursue some of your failing tests, and I bet it'll be possible. That's my inspirational message, is like, go work on your failing test. Because we
That
did,
is
and
awesome.
it helps us, and I bet it helps everyone. So that's all I have for update. It's otherwise it's just same old, but that's one thing.
No, that's really good news. And amazing job. All right, Kishore.
Yeah, so for the load balancer controller, we released V2 4.3. It's a patch release, minor fixes and security updates since the last patch release.
Cool. All right, I think that's everything that I see. So unless anyone else has anything, I'm going to move on to agenda. Cool. All right, Bridget.
Yeah, I just put a couple since we were agenda light, but obviously we don't have to spend a ton of time on them. But there was one that our team did go through and put a couple of updates on this particular. If you look at that particular one, that is one of those. It's been open absolutely forever, and we're trying to get it through. And I wanted to see if, because if you jump down to the bottom, we did just get you had made some suggestions very helpfully, which I appreciate. And we did get a couple of those in. And I was wondering if those, the comments or the changes that were made, like, helped. You had a few, questions back to you. Basically, I just wanted to make sure we keep this one moving. I know that we
Yeah.
missed this particular cherry pick deadline, et cetera, but like, I don't want to let this one languish now that we have people focused on it. Yeah.
Yeah, this one, I mean, is a little hard for me to review because I'm not super familiar with the route controller, but it just seemed like there was a configuration setting that was going into the per route struct and didn't quite seem like the right place. So I was kind of just asking if it's possible to put that in the the route controller struct or something else that's kind of more global, or just a.
I wonder, does
one
anyone else
per-
on the call know this code base, or I'm looking at you, Walter.
Yeah, I don't know. Walter, did you look at this PR at all?
I took a cursory look. I know Bridget actually pinged me, I think 2 weeks ago, and I promised that 2 weeks ago that week was bad, and I'd look at it at the next week. And yeah, I think I needed a reminder, and I apologize. I will
That's
try
fine.
to get it to it later this week. I've actually got it written on a Post-it note now and on my laptop.
Totally cool. No pressure at all. I just kind of trying to do my community duty of making sure we are all trying to move this stuff forward. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, if Nick wants to review what my colleague
Yeah, no, I'll
said,
take another look and see. Do you know if the author made a change to the setting at all?
I don't
Or were they just
know.
responding to
I
the
hate when
comment?
people force push, because it's just like, it's hard to see what's happened, what's changed. But
Okay, it looks like they were asking about it.
yeah, I think it's more just like we want to make sure before Zicheng spends a lot of time doing the wrong thing, like make sure
Yeah,
we're
no, that
doing the right thing.
totally makes sense. Cool. Yeah, I will give it another review.
Awesome. And then, yeah, if Walter gets a chance to look at it, I appreciate your insights a great deal as well. Cool. Thank you.
You have another one.
Oh yeah. So I was looking at this one too. This is actually a brand new one, and it's just a bug fix, and it's like, oh, cool. Like maybe this is a issue that we're actually gonna get fixed without it taking forever. I know this is an exciting moment if we actually get something fixed without it. Everyone being busy.
Is this, so this is Azure specific?
I think so. This is,
Okay.
it fixes that
Cool.
particular issue. So if you click through to the issue that it fixes, this is one of those, you know, we have this one in area provider Azure, and we did actually triage it here and get this one like,
Mhm.
hey, we should probably fix this. And it looks like it was, you know, reviewed
Okay,
by you
cool.
or accepted by you at least. And yeah, I was just like, hey, maybe we fixed something. Should we get it reviewed again so that we can get this, you know?
Yeah, I will.
'Cause it looks like what we need is because it's in the legacy cloud provider. So
Right. Yeah, you need the LGTM.
we
So
need the LGTM. Yeah.
I will just take a really quick look at it and
Yeah.
give the LGTM and
Awesome. I
Sure.
super don't expect you to do it on the call. I was just like, hey, I should bring these up because we're here.
cool.
We're trying to make progress.
Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
All right.
Awesome.
I
And
think
that's
it
all
for the
I
agenda.
have. But I'm sure other people have a few thoughts. So
Does anyone else have a topic?
I don't know if you guys already discussed this, but I thought we had a legacy topic about taints. So there had been a person who had been requesting the ability to run extra cloud provider specific logic in the CCM without having to worry about doing, basically have a controller that kicked in after the cloud, like the cloud lifecycle controller. And so one of the suggestions outstanding that I had made had been on top of some work that Nick was doing, where Nick was basically, setting whether using the cloud provider equals external to indicate whether or not to add the cloud taint, which overloads it a little bit. And so one of my counter suggestions had been, given that there was another customer who wanted to be able to run extra controllers, is that maybe what we would like to do rather than the cloud provider external setting the taint, is actually have a taint list for new nodes that most people would just set, if they're a cloud provider, to just being the normal cloud taint. But if you had extra controllers you wanted to run, you could add them, you could add extra taints and then check that they got cleared. Does that make sense? I'm not sure if I'm elaborating well on that, but did that make sense to folks?
Yeah, I mean, I follow it because we had that conversation. Do you happen to have the link to like the original issue?
So sadly, the
What was it?
original issue was a private Slack message to me, and I think I put the verbiage of that Slack message in here.
I think it's this, right? Yeah.
It's that, exactly. And that was just privately slacked to me, but I thought it was an interesting enough thing to bring up.
Yeah.
I guess like, my question is like, if this were to move forward, like, would we continue a design discussion like in an issue about this, or what is this going to require a cap to like add this functionality?
I personally would advocate that this doesn't require a full cap, because all we're doing is adding a flag. but I do think it should at minimum be an issue. That's a very good point. And when push comes to shove, if either Nick or Andrew says they think it should be a cap, I will defer to them. But given that this is just a taint list, this seems like an issue, and possibly some documentation should be sufficient. Personal opinion.
Yeah, when I start thinking about adding taints and initializers and stuff like that, my mind immediately goes to like, how do we make this public so more people can comment and get into it or whatnot?
Yeah, I think we should. I have a feeling it will turn it. I mean, if it's like a really short cap, I wouldn't be surprised if it ended up being one, just because it's like a API change kind of thing. But this is the PR that Walter was referring to. I'm basically just changing, sort of deprecating the cloud provider flag, changing it to a Boolean configuration, where it's just external or not external, and external directly means apply the taint. So that's where the like question of, okay, if we're changing that, and we also have this idea of people wanting to be able to put their own taints on nodes and then have their own, controller deal with that, then should we combine these into one thing? So yeah, I think we do need an issue from the person who is actually having this problem.
Would it be sufficient if I filed the issue and just CC'd the person?
I think so, yeah.
All right, I will get an issue filed.
Cool.
Just for clarification, we're not talking about doing anything with the uninitialized taint. Like that would still automatically be applied. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. I think so.
Cool.
What is the taint that the external controls?
Uninitialized. Or am I
Yeah.
thinking not ready? No, not ready is the networking one.
Yeah, no, I think it is uninitialized.
So so maybe it does. So my thought would be that if you had that, what we're saying is if you have cloud provider external, it'll add until cloud provider goes away, it'll add the uninitialized taint, and that, but we add verbiage to that, almost like what Nick has here that says, going forward, there's a cloud node taint, and you would be expected, for most of us, Google, Azure, etc., you'd be expected to say cloud node taint equals uninitialized. For cops and other ones who just don't need that at all, you could just leave the flag off, and that this cloud provider who wants an extra one could say cloud node taint equals uninitialized, comma, my special taint.
I feel like that will need a cap, because like right now the expectation is that if I set cloud provider external, I get the uninitialized taint. And I would expect that in the future, if the cloud provider flag goes away and everything has to be external cloud providers, then shouldn't the kubelet like always come up with that up? Like having to switch to apply it myself is going to be a big change, I think, for a lot of
There's
people.
something to that. I mean, the problem is that today, if you just don't provide the cloud provider equals external flag, it doesn't set the uninitialized taint, and our testing and COPS and a lot of the single machine setups require that taint not be set.
Gotcha. So yeah, like there has to be some, even if we remove cloud provider external flag, yeah, I mean, it's going to be a little messy, IMO.
Right, and so this is why Nick has this PR, right? I mean, this mechanism has to exist. The question is, what's the right way of doing it?
Yeah.
And if we did, and to be fair to Nick, if we didn't need extra taints, I would say this is a pretty good way of doing it.
Yeah, it makes sense. It's kind of like the least worst way of doing it, right?
Yeah. Okay, yeah, so I would say Bolter, file the issue that represents that point of view, and then we can discuss on the issue whether we need a cap or not.
Yep, sounds good.
Cool. All right. Anything else? Okay. Thanks for coming, everybody. And see you in 2 weeks.
Cool, thanks.
See ya.
Later.
Bye.